계속되는 시리아 내전으로 수많은 사상자와 함께 큰 피해가 발생하고 있습니다. 특히 기독교인을 표적으로 삼은 이슬람 반군의 공격 수위는 갈수록 높아지고 있어 국제사회에 우려를 더하고 있습니다. 오늘의 월드뉴스입니다.
Syrian rebels opened fire on a government army tank protecting an ancient Christian site in the city of Sednaya. The House of Cherubim Church and Convent are located here, as is this giant Jesus statue. Locals say it's larger than the one in Rio de Janeiro. Christians usually rely on the Syrian army to protect their holy sites, but not this time. They took up arms to defend the area from Islamists bent on destroying the church and the statue. The Christians reportedly killed dozens of foreign jihadi fighters during a 7-hour battle. More and more Muslim rebels are attacking Syria's Christians. Last September, they assaulted the ancient Christian city of Malula. Islamist fighters with the al-Nusra group rampaged through Malula, killing several Catholics in the process. The Syrian army eventually retook the city, but the rebels invaded again 2 months later and reportedly kidnapped 12 nuns. The ongoing targeting of Syria's Christian community has threatened its very existence. Thousands have fled. Elliot Abrams was Deputy National Security Advisor for President George W. Bush. He says he can't fault the Christians for leaving.
If you were, I think, a Christian father in Syria looking at your children and their future, I think you'd want them to get out, and not just now for safety, but for the future too. I think you'd be saying, go to Europe, go to America.
But not all Christians can leave the country or take up arms to protect themselves. Who will protect them? There is one group willing to risk their lives to protect Syria's Christians, the country's Kurdish population. Tina Ramirez heads up a nonprofit religious freedom organization called Hardwired.
My experience of the Kurds in Syria was positive, and for a long time they were defending Christians that were being persecuted there.
Last year, the Kurds declared autonomy over the northeastern part of their country. It's known as Syria Kurdistan. Because the Kurds control that territory, the Christians living in cities like Qamishli are better protected.
It's becoming even more dangerous now, obviously, as the war continues, but in the beginning they were in the ones that lived in the Kurdish areas had greater safety than living in other parts of Syria.
The Kurdish militias have won many battles against jihadis bent on controlling the region. Bilal is a former soldier, now a refugee camp leader in northern Iraq.
We resist Arabization, to not be controlled by Arabs, to defend our regions. That's why they are attacking us. But still we fight against them. We fought Al-Qaeda for the past 13-14 years with success. We have killed many Islamists and their leaders in Syria Kurdistan.
The same thing happened in Iraq. Iraqi Kurds stood with America, opposing Saddam Hussein and foreign jihadists in the Iraq War. And today, they have their own autonomous region. Iraqi Christians who fled persecution in cities like Baghdad and Mosul found a safe haven in the area of northern Iraq called Kurdistan.
They're pro-American. Their economy is terrific. They have something of a free market economy. People who go to Kurdistan will tell you, you think you're in Europe. It's wonderful.
Eventually, the Syrian war will come to an end. And like Iraq, the country may end up divided into zones of influence, including a permanent, autonomous Syrian Kurdistan. A balkanization of the country.
It is a balkanization of the country. I don't think it'll be a de jure legal separation with different countries being set up, but the zones are there, just as in Iraq.
Should the U.S. provide more support for the Syrian Kurds?
I hope that our intelligence services are in touch with them, and I think we should be willing to help those groups.
Who stood with America in the Iraq War? If America wants to apply democracy in the Middle East, if America is looking for long-term relationship in the Middle East, if America is looking for nations that will stand with them, it is the Kurds.
A secular Muslim force in the Middle East, one that opposes Islamic extremism, is friendly to Americans, and is tolerant of Christians.